What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Wheel of Time First Time Readers Podcast with Addison and Jenny. If you have not already, go ahead and check out the first part of this video over on Jenny's channel and then come back here as we wrap things up with the additional chapters and the quiz at the end and the AI art. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight to it.
The icon is again the 3 leaves on a branch. The title is Shelter from the Storm. Perrin and Egwene continue to travel with the Tuathan. Perrin is feeling restless, but his dreams have been peaceful except for a weird wolf presence. He wants to go, but Elias just has a feeling that they need to stay. Egwene is enjoying herself too, and even starts to learn the sexy dance that the Tuathan women do that makes Perrin blush. Perrin finally does have a creepy balls-a-mon dream where a wolf catches fire and ravens peck at his eyes. And he wakes up and Elias is there saying it's time to go. They have a brief-ish goodbye with the traveling people and then they go their separate ways. And the Todd's drawing from this chapter is this would be from the dream. We've got Mistress Luhan cooking fire eyes and Perrin. It's just adorable because I love Todd's drawings. Anyway, okay, so...
Question.
Yeah.
Todd's drawings, did he draw them before the series aired or after the series aired?
I think after the series aired. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I see some some similarities between the drawings and like.
That's why I was curious. I was wondering if he loosely kind of based appearance on
the show,
based off what he's seen from the show to the book, or if he did it prior to. Yeah. So this chapter here was a wake-up call because as smoothly as things were going for them, so to speak, even their interaction with the wolves that went over relatively smoothly.
Yeah.
But when the brother starts coming in your dreams, it's like, all right, we gotta get to where we going.
Yeah.
You know, the brother Bahausamon, the Digimon is
yes.
digital masters. He's trying to come and get me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that dream was already weird to me from the stance of the woman just kept cooking like nothing was happening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is weird. And then and of course, also, I'll say this. He opened up saying that, wasn't it something like she didn't even let people do something in the house, let alone the wolf came in and just sat there by them.
Yeah.
And she didn't even acknowledge that, so to speak. So it was almost like, I don't think this is something that's happening in real time. Or if it is happening in real time, it's happening in his head in real time.
Yeah.
But it's this guy's reach, Bahausamon's reach is just insane. And it makes me not even want to take a nap, to be honest.
Yeah, it is alarming for sure. This was just another incident. Egwene just really wants to absorb absolutely everything from everywhere she goes. Like I want to learn how to talk to wolves. I want to unbraid my hair. Teach me to channel. Teach me this dance. Teach me everything. Like she's just, just absolutely everything. I do have to tell this story just because this just makes me. When the show was coming out and like the cast was announced, there were some people, I'm sure you can guess, who had some. There's always racists in the fandom who were like Perrin. They cast a black man as Perrin, and one person came at me online about how Perrin could not be black because in this chapter, Perrin blushes when the women are dancing sexy. And black men can't blush. And I remember just reading this being like, okay, first of all, do you think black people don't have blood vessels in our face that blush? It just was like one of those, like, are you serious? Okay, first of all, black people can blush. Secondly, do you think this is a pivotal plot point? We have to see Perrin blush when women like
interesting.
That. What else? And
interesting argument point there.
And then the third thing I wanted to just scream, have you looked at Marcus? Like he's about the same color as me, and I am what my grandmother used to call high yellow. She used to look at me and call me high yellow.
Yeah.
I blush. I blush for sure. So
that's an interesting argument point.
Just dealing with racists online, sometimes it's just you want to smack them.
Yeah, but going back to the blush word though, is that just a feeling in conjunction with a color change as well? Is that what they're trying to indicate?
Well,
or
because it's
like
in Perrin's.
If we define blush,
because this is from Perrin's perspective, so Perrin feels it. Like it's not necessarily other people looking at his face and seeing that he's red. He feels the heat in his face because, you don't see yourself when you blush. So, yeah, that's what it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's not necessarily plot relevant, but that was just one of those things when you're just dealing with the fans. It's like, oh, come on. Come on. Of all the all the things to
give it a break.
Seriously. Being a moron. But okay. Let's see what else anything else in my notes on this chapter. Well, what did you like, all that stuff, like with the sexy dance and Elias being like, thank you for being awkward around these girls because now they're doing this dance every night. Like, yeah.
It made me feel, because there are a few girls who were eyeing Perrin, and I feel like Perrin had a few opportunities to shoot a shot, and he decided to take his ball and go home.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's okay. You know what I'm saying, brother? You don't have to engage with every woman who looks at you promiscuously and does a little dance. Stay on the safe side, brother. You don't want to have little wolflings along the whole valley of
exactly
of the Wheel of Time community.
Yeah.
But it just made me wonder, like, is he, what do you call it? Is it just shyness? Or is he just so focused on the goal or focused on a particular woman that he doesn't see anybody else in that way for right now?
Yeah. He could also just be like, I don't know I do know how old he is, but he could just be like a young kid's first time out of these village. And, it's the first time you're dealing with this sort of thing. Like, doesn't quite know how to handle it.
I don't know, but isn't he like 20 something? But even still, I wouldn't even say that age can determine your confidence when dealing with relationship type situations either. So not that that's an excuse, but I just know his counterparts seem to be a little bit more confident in that space than he is.
They're like about 1920. Like they're
okay.
Yeah, like they're just I sort of see them as like end of high school. Like they're about to go off to college, that age. I think they aged them up just a tiny bit in the show, but like by maybe a year, not even really.
Yeah, I would say in the show, despite what the show says their age are, in the show they look to me like they're 22 to 30. Yeah, like in anywhere between the 22 to 30 age range.
Yeah. Actually, 20 is probably about accurate for their age. And as Shantini says, their naivete is about as much as being sheltered as their age. Like they've just lived in this tiny little village. And Rapunzel, you're right. I thought they were like, until somebody tells you their age. Their behavior in the books feels so young sometimes. It really, really
you're
does.
right. I have a different view too. I've seen the show. I have their faces in my head. I would be curious to see what I think their age was if I just read the book and didn't watch the show. But maybe more so based off Matt's decisions, I would probably think they were younger.
Yeah, like that.
Just based off his decisions alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I will say, Perrin got off easy with that dream. Because those ravens came and pecked at his eyes. If like Rand was bleeding from it, like if that had been Rand, imagine Rand.
Still, man, what a great time to wake up though, for sure.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. But it's didn't he say he still kind of like felt it, or he could think about the intensity of pain? Oh, the side effects. That's too much.
It's all bad. The whole dream situation is bad. They're like in the show. I think we see 3 dreams. There are so many dreams in Eye of the World. There's just so many, and they're all unpleasant. There's nobody Perrin I guess had a few pleasant dreams ish. But okay.
Actually too, man, y'all got to stay to the end. Me and Jenny will probably have to talk about some of our weirdest dreams that we've ever had too. I'll show you. No Behalza moms were in it. Well, I don't know about Jenny, but he wasn't in mine.
Never had a Balsamon dream. Thank goodness. Okay, if you're ready, then we can go on to the next chapter. So let me get the icon up here for you. It is just the staff. The chapter title is Footprints in Air. Nynaeve, Moraine, and Lan arrive at Whitebridge to find the city still reeling from whatever happened with the Fade. Nynaeve is shocked to see how people gravitate to Moraine and feel comfortable with her, receive comfort from her. However, the people all seem to be lying about what happened in the city. They deny that there were any shadow spawn in the city, and they talk about how they chased the ship and others out of town. The party goes into the inn, and Moraine is able to tell that the boys were there and that they were very afraid, which Lan says makes sense because he can still feel that there was a Fade there. Moraine decides now not to go after the boy who has the coin, which we know is Perrin, and hope that the others just make... Moraine decides now to go after the boy who has the coin, which is Perrin, and hope that the others make their way to Caemlyn. Nynaeve asks about Egwene, and Moraine says she hopes Egwene is safe, but the boys, of course, are her priority. And Todd's drawing from this one would be this white cloak coming up to them while they eat. I love the mouths on these little guys. It cracks me up every single time. So, yeah.
So many thoughts. I do see a comment in the chat, and I guess I want to ask you this one too. Are you team Moraine, Nynaeve, and Lan, or are you team Matt, Tom, and Rand?
Like which party?
Which team are you? Which party would you like to be a part of? If you had to be in one group or the other, which party would you rather be in?
I mean, okay, there's the part of me that's like, okay, I want to be with Nynaeve and Moraine just because I like watching them. But I also think that if you actually put me in that situation, it would be awful because I would feel so tense the entire time. Because like Moraine, like, Nynaeve's staring daggers at her, and I would feel so uncomfortable. So I would like to watch it, but probably Perrin and Egwene, to be honest. Traveling with the Tuathon seems like it would be fun. How about you?
Okay. I might have to go Moraine, Lan, and Egwene.
Nynaeve.
I mean, and Nynaeve.
Yeah.
I might have to go Moraine, Lan, and Nynaeve. I think I have to be a part of that one.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is the ones who are being in pursuit of.
Okay, yeah. You're
at least in this group,
yes.
I'm a part of the pursuers.
Yeah, you're right. I'm fully thinking of just the social dynamic of it. Like, and I know that it would be, because you are right. Everybody else, it's dangerous. That is the smarter choice.
Yeah. From encountering wolves to, it's just a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. I would like to go to sleep at night. And there's nobody in this group yet that's been having dreams either. So, you know what I'm saying? I can sleep a little bit better with this group.
Yeah.
But as far as going back into this chapter, this guy walking up to the table with less confidence that he would like to present was kind of humorous.
Once again, Lan just like tears him down by sipping his beer.
That's a fact. Yeah. And then seeing the people gravitate to Moraine and Nynaeve kind of looking at that, it made me wonder, like, is she using some other different type of power to comfort them or do something to them? But then again, with them flipping and telling lies, it almost made me wonder, like, are you guys all dark friends, or did somebody tell y'all, like, hey, y'all better shut up or we're gonna come back through this city again and ain't nobody telling nothing? You know what I'm saying? It made me wonder, like, why is everybody, I can see maybe one or two people, why is everybody lying though?
Snitches get stitches.
And it was interesting seeing how they kind of came to Moraine and how Nynaeve was kind of looking at that and wondering about it. I don't know if it was from why is it just her? Why don't they come to me, Land, or me or Land and ask for
me, again, because she is the character that I want to understand the most, is when I see this, I think Nynaeve, again, feeling really insecure, just like, how does she do it? How, like, you're right. Nobody's coming to me. Everybody how she came into town.
Well, I think she's used to it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I feel like she's in Two Rivers, I feel like, again, she's the one, but I feel like she was the one. She's the center of attention when it comes to political stuff, when it comes to village stuff, when it comes to a lot of stuff. They go to her in regards to that. And I feel like her being around Moraine lets her know, like, there's levels to this, and you didn't know there was another level that you haven't reached
above
yet.
You. Yeah. So that is interesting. As far as why they lied, I always thought, okay, this is just my thinking. I never thought about the idea that they might have been threatened, but I always was like, they don't want to accept, like, they didn't believe in Trollocs before, and then they had to deal with at least a fade. We know there was at least one fade. So now,
but everybody though,
just not wanting to accept it. But you're right, it is everybody. That is a little weird.
It's almost like they got Men in Black. You know, when Men in Black, they put the shades on and they put the little light by. It's like everybody got hit with that.
Yeah. So, okay, then I will go on to the next chapter, which is chapter 29. It is called Eyes Without Pity. And the icon is the wolf again, which makes sense. Elias pushes Perrin and Egwene to travel fast, but also stealthily. The wolves are scouting ahead and behind them. And at one hill, they spot a mass of ravens flying from tree to tree. And Elias knows that they are, quote-unquote, eyes of the Dark One, probably searching for them. They continue to make their way and see the ravens descend on a fox and peck it to death. The wolves spot ravens behind them, and they start to race ahead to a safe place that Elias knows, with Egwene and Perrin taking down lone ravens with their slings along the way. Just as they think they can run no more, they arrive at something called a steading, where Perrin feels refreshed, but Egwene feels like she lost something and doesn't really like it. They see the ruins of an old statue, and Elias tells the story of Arthur Hawkwing, who's a king who united all the lands of the continent, but then because he hated the Aes Sedai, he tried to attack Tar-Valon, and then he tried to build a city in the steading, and he wouldn't even accept Aes Sedai healing when he was dying, and his kingdom was destroyed after his death. Oh yes, and Todd's drawing for this chapter is this.
Poor Fox, man. What the fox say?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
That's poor Fox was just probably just get away from me. So,
man, poor Fox, man. This, I guess, tied into, it makes me want to know, like, I know Elias says he doesn't really know why he gets these senses and urgencies to when it's time to move, when it's time to go. I'm gonna need more than that, brother. I'm gonna need you to let me know more than that, especially after I seen you like kind of shoo the guy in the village when he was about to talk something about their story. And going back to that a little bit, there was some type of interaction between that guy's wife and Elias too. I didn't know if it made me strike me as like, did that used to be your ex-wife or something? And then it's safer for her here in a village with this guy. You know he's a good guy, but so you really can't feel no type of way about this guy because you know whatever. It was a whole storyline I just made up in my head after seeing them interact.
That's the fun part.
The speculation, but his intuition about when it's time to move and when it's not time to move, it made me wonder because obviously as soon as it was time for them to get out, that's when the Ravens came. This is another one of those instances where it would have been dope to see this play out in the show. Like I would have, again, all my animal lovers out there, don't beat me up too much. I would have been interested to see how these ravens descended upon this fox from a visual standpoint, just to see if it was more of an evil thing or if it was one of those situations to where it just seemed like a nature type thing. And it also made me wonder too, for if you know this, Jenny, too, do ravens do coordinated attacks, or is that something specifically that this book has put in? Because you know there's some things in nature that are kind of interesting.
I actually don't know. I know ravens are ridiculously smart. Like they're one of the smartest animals. Like I've seen, with them using tools and stuff like that and playing. They grieve their dead. They remember human faces. That might be crows, but they're both really, really smart. So I don't know about coordinated attacks though.
But the steading, if I'm not mistaken, was the steading not one of the origin stories that was attached to the Wheel of Time series? Absolutely,
it was. Yeah, the one about do you remember what it would like? What part of or what character?
Brother Book's stomping ground, wasn't it? That's Brother Book's.
Yeah, the steading are where Brother Book's people, they're called the Ogier, are from. So yeah. This chapter,
in the chat, they did let us know that a flock of crows is called a murder, so that doesn't sound good.
A flock of ravens is called an unkindness of ravens.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were saying how you would have liked to see this. I would have bet money before the show came out that this scene would have been in there because it is so, like it feels epic. My only guess is that it was a budget thing again, because I would have, this is such a tense scene. It would have really played out well in the show. I don't know. I don't know why it wasn't there. So yeah.
I feel like even though this crow scene got skipped over, I could definitely see in them, whether they double down or whether the storyline takes us back to the steading, I definitely can see the steading coming back up in the show for season 2 or season 3. I feel like the way that got described, and also what it does to Aes Sedai, I'm pretty sure we'll be back here or to another steading or something like that. Yeah. Based off the description of that.
Yeah. Well, that one's like what it does to Aes Sedai. Did you catch Egwene's reaction when they went into the steading?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it was funny because I'm always torn between that. Like, Egwene, are you gonna tell Elias what you're trying to become, or are you gonna keep that under wraps? Because I knew why she was feeling the way she was feeling based on what Elias described about the scenery and where they were.
Yeah. I always wondered if Elias picked up on that. Like if Elias heard her say, I don't like it, I feel like I lost something. And then he went, I wonder. So, yeah.
Another part of me thinks that Elias could be trying to play nice with her so that he could have some type of ally. Not even if it's intentional. She could be his one saving grace or one pass when it comes to
getting back
maybe
in with
getting
them.
by a situation with the Aes Sedai or whatever, because if one person vouches for you, she may keep the others at bay from killing you, or vice versa. I feel like him having an Aes Sedai friend is going to come back and help him in some way, potentially.
Maybe, yeah.
Speculation right there. Or it could stab him in the back. You never know.
That is true. I am seeing a Rain Dancer in the chat saying that the internet says that crows attacked in groups. Now, does it say about ravens? Because raven and crows they're similar, but I don't think they're the same. But it does apparently the crows attack similar to how the book describes, which is awful. And I have a new fear unlocked.
That's a fact. And also, Rain Dancer, if you don't mind, could you help put everyone's mind at ease and let us know if that is for other animals only and not human beings?
Yes. Please.
Thank you, Rain Dancer.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because this is not something I need to be thinking about ever. So
that's a fact.
Yeah. This chapter. I will. Okay. Just shout out to my girl, Egwene, taking down a raven with her sling. Like she just had it at the ready. Hitting a bird in flight with a little rock, like
game time shot.
Seriously, that was good. That was
big
good.
shot.
Oh, sorry, Rapunzel. Geese will attack humans in flocks. I have been attacked by a goose. It sounds funny. It is terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying.
Like when you say terrifying, meaning like you actually feel like your life was on the line, terrifying, or like it's like, oh, this is a scary experience.
It was. I was afraid for my life because they're really, really big, and when their mouths are open and they're close to you, you can kind of see teeth. I probably would have lived.
Oh snap!
And my friends were inside the door waving me to come in because it was like on my way to school, and they were laughing like they were like on the floor laughing, trying to wave me in. And I was like, I know. I
feel like we're having a Jenny origin story. Yes. This is where Duck Goose came. Duck Goose. Duck. This is the origins of the Duck Goose game.
Exactly. I know it looked ridiculous. Like I'm sure I've seen videos of people being chased by geese online, and it always looks insane. Like it looks dumb, but when it's happening, like it's just they're so loud. They're so loud.
Anyway. It wasn't an Affleck. It was Affleck goose, was it?
It was a Canada goose too. They're the worst. I'm Canadian. I love Canada. We are a peaceful people, except when you rile us.
Except for our animals.
Yeah, except when you rile us, and our geese are the same. If you rile a goose, which I did by walking too close to its nest, it was my own fault. But anyway, this is a whole aside here. Sorry, I have trauma related to geese. I totally do.
Man.
All right. Any other thoughts on this chapter before we go? I know people are bringing something up in the chat. I do want to talk about it, but I want to talk about it in the next chapter, if that's possible.
In this one, I'm anticipating, okay, when are we going to get back to the course that the show had about them getting captured? Because now that they're not with this group anymore, being disbanded from the group, they got captured shortly thereafter. They actually got captured while they were with this group, potentially. So now I'm anticipating that about to happen. That was one of my feelings while listening to the book.
Okay, before I go on, because I just remembered, is there anything in Arthur Hawkwing's story that jumped out at you, like the king who hated Tar-Valon and the witches and all that?
Going down to the fact that he didn't even take the treatment going into his deathbed. It was it reminded me of that, that quote people say now, no, stay on that side. You know what I'm saying? If I hated you my whole life, no, stay on that side. Don't get my help now. But yeah, it would be interesting to see if, I don't know, maybe he had a nephew or something who got gentles at at one time, and then he wasn't feeling that. But yeah, so that would be interesting. It also would be interesting to see how do the Aes Sedai fight while in the steading if they can't use their abilities to their full extent.
That's why he wanted to build the city there. He his hatred for the Aes Sedai seemed a little excessive and unreasonable.
Yes. Yeah, no, and when I say how, it means because I know Moiraine's smart. So they just go off of intelligent combat if they were ever put in those type of situations where they had to. Yeah. But I guess we may or may never see. We'll see. Yeah. Or I have to wait till Brother Tom comes back and sings us a song about it, right?
Maybe. All right. Okay. Then I guess let's move on to the final chapter for this week, which is chapter 30. It is called Children of Shadow, which I always found funny because they actually call themselves the Children of the Light. And the icon is the sunburst. This is the Children of the Light symbol. Elias and Perrin talk about Perrin's hatred for violence and what he was willing to do. This is what I wanted to say for this chapter. He almost throws away the axe, but Elias tells him to keep it until he no longer hates it. The wolves the wolves send an urgent message that men are approaching and the men smell wrong somehow. There's no time to hide that they were there, so Elias tells them to hide and goes to join the wolves. Egwene and Perrin go to hide behind some of the statue ruins as White Cloaks enter the campground. Some White Cloaks spot Perrin and Egwene and order them out. As Perrin and Egwene approach the White Cloaks, a wolf bursts out of the darkness and rips out one of the White Cloaks' throats. The other White Cloaks kill the wolf, and Perrin feels the wolf die, and he kind of goes into a battle rage. We learn later that he killed 2 White Cloaks before he was knocked unconscious. He wakes up in a tent, and he and Egwene are tied up. The White Cloaks are assuming that they are dark friends, and everything Egwene and Perrin says only confirms it to them. The Lord Captain Commander tells them that they will be taken to Amador for trial, while the junior White Cloaks wants to kill them now. And the Todd's drawing for this one is them tied up here.
Where to start with chapter 30? I think my biggest thought process is like the Children of the Light, White Cloaks, they're like getting on my nerves a little bit. It's like, whose authority do y'all have to do some of the stuff that y'all doing?
Yeah.
Are y'all just free will going through the forest, harassing anybody who makes y'all feel uncomfortable or who doesn't abide by anything that y'all say? So that's a little bit annoying, even from the standpoint that they were in the steading somewhere in the forest, and then they pretty much something like, come out, or you got a little minute to come out, we're gonna kill all of y'all. It's like, because of what, bro? You know what I'm saying? Can I not take a nap in the forest if I want to without being harassed by some White Cloaks? Is that okay with you? So they're a little bit annoying on that side of things. And then we see Elias spring into action to pretty much go join the wolf pack. And I think as he's leaving off, Perrin even describes him, it's like he got out on all fours or something like that.
Something like he looked like a wolf as he ran off or something.
And through the whole course of this reading, not even just this chapter, Perrin is starting to sense like there's certain mannerism and characteristics of him that are very wolf-like. Mm-hmm. And then this last interaction here with him kind of going off, it made me think again. I this like the 34th time I brought up. Like, does he transform fully into a wolf?
Yeah.
When he wants to, and can the rest of the pack do that, or is that something that only a few members of people can do? Perrin potentially being one of them. But yeah, so you did mention something we'll talk about in a minute that did. I don't think I caught that when I listened to it. I was thinking about some things that had already occurred while the book was still reading, but I didn't rewind it to go back to hear it.
Yeah.
And one of those things, one of the most pivotal things is when they got tied up and one of the wolves jumped out to throatify that brother, for lack of a better term. Mm-hmm. Did the wolf like tell him run, brother?
Yeah.
Or was Perrin telling the wolf to run, brother?
Well, when the wolf comes out and Perrin yells no because he can feel what the wolf's about to do. And then the wolf kills someone. I think, and then the wolf turns to him and like thinks run. And,
okay,
yeah.
That confirmed that like you are in the pack now. Mm. If we lay down our lives to make sure that you're good and goodness gracious, I think that wolf got something thrown through him or something like that.
Yep.
Goodness gracious, rest in peace. You gonna tell me the wolf name, or you gonna quiz me on that wolf name?
Wolf names might be a bit on the quiz. Yeah.
Oh man, but so that was a pretty deep one. So the thing that you mentioned that I didn't realize, as you said, he killed 2 White Cloaks in the process.
Perrin killed 2 White Cloaks.
Okay, before he got blacked out.
But we don't learn that, and like we learn that in this chapter because the Lord Captain Commander says, "You kill 2 White Cloaks, you're gonna hang." But Perrin doesn't really remember it. Because
of that, their arrest makes more sense in this context than it did in the series.
Yeah.
Like we just stumbled across you guys. All right, you're coming with us because we think you're people who can manipulate the one power, whatever the case may be. Now, if y'all get into an interaction and you actually kill 2 of our people, them capturing you, take you back seems a lot more feasible of a thing than the latter, I'll say,
Yeah.
than what I just mentioned prior to that. So
I've commented on that a couple of times in my channel. I don't really understand why they were pulled away. I can sort of see it, like that sort of white cloak that we know in the show. His name is Valda. He saw them before and then he sees them.
Help me.
Yes, that dude. Yes, he saw them before and figures because he sees them again, they must be important. So whatever. But in the books, their arrest does make quite a bit more sense.
Yeah, with these brothers, man, it's like you don't want to see them more than once, or they're gonna have some spiritual epiphany that the reason they saw you twice is because they need to put you in jail, or they need to question you.
Yeah.
Man,
it's just dumb. One of the things I did want to talk about in this chapter, I don't know if you did catch it, because I mentioned at the beginning, Elias and Perrin talk about Perrin's hatred for violence and what Perrin was willing to do. Did you catch what Perrin was willing to do?
He's about to throw his axe. Correct?
Well, he was going to throw his axe after this. During their run away from the Ravens, Perrin keeps looking at Egwene and thinking, "I don't want her to die."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. This I almost pulled one of those U's, and I wrote this out of my mind because, like, Perrin, I like you. Don't think nothing like this again, brother. Before I had to write you off too. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, great point. So, when this conversation, this was actually one of my more favorite dialogues. There was two portions of dialogue that I had that I really liked, and they both involved Perrin. One was with the Tinker people, and they said, the quote about violence does more harm to the person who inflicts it than to the person who receives it. That was like, dang, that's kind of deep from outside of the book perspective, like just assessing our own lives and things of that nature. And then also when Elias was talking to him about, well, because you want to put down the axe, you need to keep it in your hand.
Yeah.
And when you don't want to put down the axe, that's when you need to take it out of your hand. That was another, like, dang, that's deep, to make sure that you are not doing things for the wrong reason and knowing why you should do things or why you have certain abilities to do things and just doing that within moderation. Yeah. So that was impactful. Now, the scene the portion of the conversation when Perrin had the axe and had this dumb thought, I almost was like, okay, hopefully I read or listened to that wrong. And it was just like a quick, stupid thought, but he didn't really give it much justice. But the way Elias addressed it, it was like something that Perrin was actually thinking about.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll let you go over it one more time, but you're insinuating that Perrin was seriously thinking about ending Egwene's life because it was a better possibility than moving along the path that they were going.
Yeah, because he was thinking that she would die by, like, getting ripped apart by the Ravens, and he thought, well, this will be a better death. So he was considering taking her life.
Okay, yeah, that I'm gonna have to get paused to that one, because that one, again, I know characters have certain battles that they have to get over with, but I understand if it was something that was geared towards him.
Yeah.
When it affects somebody else, it hits a little different. If you know what I mean, it's like,
this is one of those things.
Don't make that decision on your own ever, please.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you saying that, because I have to tell you, I had a revelation reading this time, because I normally just sort of skim over that, but I had the thought, I bet you this is going to jump out at Addison. Now, apparently it didn't, but because I thought it was going to jump out at you, I started thinking about it, and I now have an understanding more of what they did on the show. Because in this moment,
you talking about that? You talking about going back to episode 1, or what are you going to refer to?
Episode 1, and but it's a tie-in with this, because in this moment, Perrin considered killing Egwene, and I always hated this for that very reason that you just said. It's somebody else's life. You do not get to make a life. I was about to say life-altering. It's a life-ending decision for another person. Especially Egwene, like, she can channel. You don't know, at like the last second, she might have been able to pull a Nynaeve, and
that's a fact.
It doesn't make sense. And what always bothered me in the book, it didn't bother me so much that Perrin thought of it, even though I don't think that it's the smart thing to think. I can, that thought goes through your head. I'm okay. Everybody has thoughts. What bothered me is that the book doesn't give another perspective. It doesn't say, no, like, that's Egwene's life. Egwene gets to make her own decision. What hit me this time is Perrin is dealing with, at this moment, the trauma of, I came very close to killing a woman I love. Whether or not it's a woman that I love romantically or my friend, I came very, very close to killing a woman I love. And in the show, he killed a woman he loved.
Yes.
Yeah, combine that with the trauma that he gets later on in this chapter of, I killed somebody in a battle rage. In the episode 1, he kills a woman he loves in a battle rage. They took these two traumas and they put them together and made a giant Voltron trauma of his wife.
I like the connections, Jenny. Goodness.
I only noticed that this time. Thank you. I just,
Man, that's good stuff. Going back to what you said though, it did weigh on me, but like, because it was so bad and I liked him so much, I think I tuned that part like, no, you didn't do that. All right. Yeah. A blip on the radar. We're back to regular. But your connections to that are super dope because, well, maybe what they did in the series was they got his wrongdoing out of the way first so that he doesn't deal with it later. Because like if you already view someone as a good person and they do something stupid, it's like, dude, you know better than this. But if you do it already, they're just on a redemption. Yes, they grow from it. So maybe it was in light of that, maybe not. Because if they double back down, never mind. It's a book, and Robert Jordan has, and Bryan Sanderson already have certain things that he's going to do anyway. I was about to say, man, if he doubles back down and does something else stupid, then it's like, all right, never mind. That's just who you are, I guess. And I'm saying this, and then I'm only on book 1, and I know there's several other books. There's
a few.
Yeah. Him and Tom got a lot of stuff to get through, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but no. I see you pulling. I see you trying to dig in. So I see what you're doing. But I always assume that they just put, like, I see Kate in the chat, like, Perrin is so internal. You're seeing that, like, we're in his thoughts. He'll think like 8 paragraphs and then say 8 words. And so he can't, like, that's really, really a hard character to adapt for a television show because he's so internal. Makes sense. So in my mind, when I saw what they did with him in the first episode, I didn't like it. Still not a fan of it, but I was like, I understand why they did it because they need, like, when he's off thinking by himself in the show, we need to understand what he's thinking about, and they gave him something like it. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to look at Perrin when he's looking sad and being like, "Oh, I bet I know what you're sad about." But realizing that it's literally it's exactly from the books. Like it's altered, but I can see it now. I can see the pieces that were put together that made that trauma. It's lifted from the book. So
they say it's the quiet ones you got to watch out for, man. And he just had to make sure that was proved true with that thought process is right there.
Addison, thirsty for a spoiler. Absolutely. Yes. Sneaky boy.
Nah, I'm just sip on there.
Brother Sips. Wait, you taking his title?
Quenched.
You taking his title?
Oh, no, bro. That's Brother Sips' title. Brother can have that one.
Okay. So anyway, those were my thoughts on that particular incident. That I just had a revelation on that. So, any other thoughts on this chapter? Yeah.
This is a really dope reading. We got to see a lot of things in this for sure that we did not get to see in the show. I don't know if we like. It would be dope almost to probably. Dang, we should have did it. Probably could go back. We should have built a list of things. Like, all right, we would like to see some fandom scene cuts of XYZ scene this, XYZ scene this. The crows and the wolves would definitely be some. I would like to see a 30-minute trailer, maybe of just those 2 scenes of those from season 1 that we didn't get to see. But no, this was a fun reading. I really enjoyed this one. I really do enjoy getting to see Perrin from a whole nother side, just not seeing him as the third wheel with the group, but actually as somebody who has thought processes that we actually can fully understand as opposed to just think we understand. And you kind of just spoke to that as well. But no, this is great. These set of chapters is really good.
Yeah, this is tight. The White Cloaks are an alarming group of people. Not a fan. Just gonna put that out there. I do not agree with the Children of the Light. Yes. Okay. So I guess, are you ready for the the quiz?
I'm ready to further our conversations.
Well, here you go. Here you go. Okay, so I have some questions here. Question number 1. What is the captain of the boat? The boat is called the Spray. Do you remember the captain's name?
Prey. So he was on the Spray and Pray.
I mean, it does have an A sound in it. It does have an A sound in it. His name is Bail Domon. So
yeah, I saw that on the chat again. So I should get kudos for not cheating and scrolling back up to the chat where somebody had said that. But yeah, Brother Bale, man, good Brother dude, Bale. Man.
Brother Bale is beloved. Just I mean, because he was a decent dude. Like he wouldn't go back for them, but he also gave them their money back, and he told really cool stories. And he do be talking like this, so everybody do be loving him. So.
He reminds me of and maybe this is fresh in my mind. Have you seen Treasure Planet?
No.
You haven't seen Treasure Planet? It's on Disney Plus. He reminds me of the pirate / secondhand main character in that movie. That's who Bill reminds me. I mean, like he'll do some things that are bad, but he's a good dude. It's weird. It's a weird correlation.
That is a good correlation, yeah. Because he's kind of a pirate. I mean, well, he's on a ship. I don't know if that makes him a pirate, but okay. All right. I know you know the answer to this, but I told you I wouldn't take it off. We learned 3 new names for the Dark One in these chapters. 2 from the Aiel and 1 from the Wolves. Can you name any of them?
Are you talking about Leaf Blighter and Sightburner?
Yes. The third one, because you got 2, I said any of them.
Oh, man.
But no.
What's the third one, though?
Those 2 were from the Aiel. The third one we learned from the Wolves. The Wolves' name for the Dark One is Heartfang, which is pretty tight.
It's like a wolf type thing to say.
Yeah. Wolf names for things. I love the wolf names for things. They're amazing. They're amazing. But speaking of wolves, we learned the names of 4 wolves. Can you name 2 of them?
Burn. Dang, what is the leader's name? The woman that they said that the other wolves was. Oh my goodness. Elias. Should that not count?
Oh my.
Should that not count?
That does sound like a technicality. That does sound like a technicality. Okay.
Karen, should that not count? Come on, chat. Come on, get me up there.
I like it.
No, this mic is too expensive to drop. Let me not.
yeah. Don't be dropping that. Okay. The one that died from, like, the one that ripped out, like, the de-throatening, I think you called it, was Hopper. And the leader is
Hopper.
Dapple, and then Wind. So there's Burn, Dapple, Wind, Hopper.
You know what's funny? I have all 4 names written down right here in my notes. I would screen share to show you so you can believe me, but I have all 4 of them written down for chapter 22 notes. Hey,
you gotta pull that out in time, man. But you made me realize something, because it always bothered me that Elias just leaves them. Like, he just leaves them. And you made me realize that, because when you said you trust him to do what's best for the wolves, no, that's what's best for the kids. And I was like, oh yeah, he's putting the wolves first. Because I always bothered me.
That's a fact.
Like, you just left these kids. Why?
Okay. Since the Dark One's nickname in wolf language is Heartfang, I feel like if Matt had a wolf name, it would be Shorttail. What y'all think? What you think? I feel like his name would be Shorttail. That should be his wolf name.
I think that would work. Yes, I think that works. Oh my gosh, Shorttail works very well. All right, the final question before we get to the spelling. What are the Aes Sedai who serve the Dark One called? Elias tells us this. He says, Aes Sedai who, he called them this to their face. They're Aes Sedai who serve the side of the dark.
I mean, I'm looking into spaces if the name is gonna come to me, and it's not.
All right.
So I might as well
Black
just.
Aja. He looks so
Why was
sad.
that like the most? Yeah, because it's like the most simple. Because they got blue Aja, red Aja.
Yeah.
Why didn't I? Because I know in the show we used to call him the doo-doo brown, the doo-doo Aja.
No.
Doo-doo Aja.
That's my Aja. You can't be calling nobody doo-doo. That's my Aja. That's the Aja I'm doo-doo Aja.
Doo-doo Aja.
No.
Black Aja. Goodness gracious. Why I just didn't say the color and keep it simple?
Yeah.
See, oh man.
Yeah, Black Aja.
Black Aja. Okay.
All right.
A fitting name.
Yes. Okay. And then I'm just going to give you one word to spell here. That would be Elias's name.
Just Elias?
Yeah. Spell me Elias.
Oh my goodness. If his name is not spelled how I have in my notes right above burn, hopper, dapple, and wind. You see how quick I threw that out.
Yeah.
Wolf names : burn, hopper, dapple, and wind. The way I have Elias spelled in my notes is Elias, but I know it's not that. I know it's something dumb. Like anyway, I'm ready for it. Just put it on me. Put the RJ spelling on me.
Elyas.
Brother Robert Jordan, I don't want to upset the Will of Time community, but I would like to talk to you behind. Well, it would have been nice to talk to you behind closed doors about why you spell things the way you did. Maybe we could have came out from those doors with a better understanding for each other.
Yeah. Because audiobooks are so popular these days, and because the Wheel of Time audiobooks are so good. Like the one we're listening to right now, the Rosamund Pike one, is fantastic.
Yes.
The previous one also fantastic. So a lot of people read them, and you can always tell even somebody who has come from just listening to the audiobook joins the fandom, because like there's the rest of us trying to decipher what they typed and like, who is this character? Oh,
that's funny. That is hilarious.
Spells it differently.
We're talking about two different characters right now, are we?
Yes.
Let me find out that the blue R's and red R's are spelled different. If red and blue spelled different, then I might have to close these books. If black, red, and blue are spelled different by Robert Jordan, I might have to go on and bow out. I can't be that tainted now.
Luckily, they are not. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, that's all I had for this. Do you have any further thoughts? And tell me your crazy dream or anything else.
Oh yeah, we got to get back to the crazy dream. So, it's not something too crazy, just interesting fact. So, when I was younger, I just remember a repeated dream that I used to have when I was younger. Is I remember I was so like infatuated with like what it would be like to fly. You watch Superman movies and Marvel movies and things of that nature, and it's like, man, that having that freedom to fly and all that. So I would start to have these series of dreams that always feel real. So it'd be like late at night, and then I would just start like floating out of my bed, then slowly going out of the window, and I would be flying. But the problem was I could never come down. So then it would be like a Google Maps thing to where it was a terrifying dream. I kid you not. It's like, it's fun. It's like, oh, cool, I'm flying. And then I realized I have no control over my flight. And then suddenly my house gets to like a drone view, and then a Google Maps view, and then a world view and the planet view. So it was kind of terrifying because I couldn't I'm just going up and away and not going down. So I remember that used to be a repeated dream I had. And then after that, I realized I was cool just being ground bound.
Ground bound.
So my hopes of being on Smallville ended, shortly after that.
Yeah. Okay, repeated
what you got?
I remember from when I was young. It's I would be talking to people. Like I remember this from when I was real little. I'd be talking to people, and then a hole would open up underneath them, and they would get sucked down into the ground. And it was a nightmare that I had over and over again. I would wake up and I would be afraid to get out of my bed, and my mom would have to come and pick me up. Because I was. Would it be
like bad people, or would it just be like somebody you didn't want to talk to?
No, like in my dream it was everybody.
Interesting.
Like I would be, out playing with my dad, and my dad would get sucked down into the ground, and then I'd be talking. Like it was just, and it was
like a sinkhole type thing, or like a.
It was like, I think what it was, because I was a little girl, so it was like a perfect black circle, and then they would just sort of fall down into the perfect black. It wasn't like they fell into hell. They would just
that's terrifying.
From existence. And it was, yeah.
That is terrifying.
It was terrifying.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we come to a close, I know you may have some other closing things. Don't forget again to let us know what's AI art or what scene from today's discussion that y'all would like to see turn into AI art, and we'll get that added to this episode. So.
And thank you so much for joining us. And next week, I think we only have 5 chapters next week. I'll send it to you just to be sure, because. It's not as many.
5?
Yeah.
Now, if it's 5 chapters but the same duration as 10 chapters, then that's kind of cheating.
I actually don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know. But thank y'all for joining us.
Thanks.
Thank y'all for joining us.
No, I got a quiz for you. I got a quiz for you before. I got a quiz for you before we get out of here real quick, Jim.
All right.
Who did the artwork for some of the chapter symbols that you've been showing me?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I fail. You're writing this down?
I will take my Kermit sip right now. And we will get back to you guys on the answers to that on the next episode. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.